and you can very easily make this medication for yourself in your own home. One of the big people I want to talk about is recently Tommy Chong. How many of you know who Tommy Chong is?
Yeah.
Recently, Tommy Chong, a couple months ago, diagnosed with prostate cancer. Started taking the Rick Simpson oil. He announced it on CNN News that he was taking it for his prostate cancer. About a month ago, he twittered that his blood levels were down and he was 99% cancer-free. So I would be watching for that on national news, because when Tommy Chong is cancer-free, his life has come full circle, and it's time for him to come out and step up for us in this movement. Another honorable mention is a woman named Lindsay Miggins. She's a Crohn's sufferer. And Lindsay, about 4 months ago, started using the Rick Simpson oil and the cannabis extracts, who is now today doing great. I suggest if you have anybody, I know a lot of people have Crohn's, find either Shauna Banda or Lindsay Miggins on Facebook. Shauna Banda has a book out there called Live Free or Die. I recommend it if you have Crohn's disease. It's very detailed. It will tell you how to treat yourself, and she is today well. We also have skin cancer people that I'd like to mention. One by the name of Dave Triplett that healed the skin cancer on his nose in 3 weeks using the Rick Simpson oil, Phoenix Tears hemp oil extract topically. That's a big deal. This oil used topically has helped people with chemo burns, motorcycle burns. All you need to do is go to YouTube, type in cannabis and cancer or cannabis and burns. You will find all the information that you need to know. It's about doing this research for yourself. Books I would recommend are The Marijuana Gateway to Health. Alzheimer's is a big problem in this country, and Clint Werner wrote an excellent book that explains how cannabis and the research that they've done in Alzheimer's disease has proven that cannabis slows the onset of Alzheimer's. That should be important to everybody because of the food that we're eating, the water that we're drinking, and the chemicals that we're exposed to in this world. Alzheimer's is rampant, and dementia. Cannabis can help ward that off. I'd also like to make an honorable mention to Robert Platshorn and the Silver Tour. He's doing some great work out of Florida, representing the elders and the senior citizens, who a lot of them are our voting public. He has a 30-minute infomercial that I want you to watch out for called Should Grandma Smoke Pot? Because cannabis is now proven through clinical studies to be excellent for aches, pains, arthritis, and aging conditions. Even if they're basically healthy, they can feel like they're 20 years younger. I want to make a special mention to moms and dads for marijuana. I work with both of those groups. Please connect with them, help them out. They're grassroots. They're doing some great work. We'll be in D.C. next month, October 15th, with the Moms for Marijuana Cannabis Quilt. Each state in the nation, some activists have stepped up and made patches for their state, and we'll be in D.C. to lay that out, just like they did the AIDS quilt. Next month, October 15th. And then the next day, on October 16th, finally, a 2002 lawsuit that ASA introduced will be heard in federal court to reschedule cannabis. Yay. Cannabis is in Schedule 1 with no medical value. So we go next month. This could be the biggest ruling in our history on cannabis in the last 70 years, if we get it out of Schedule 1 and give it some medical value. Okay, I'm going to talk just a little bit about what I've done. I don't know if all of you can see from the ground, but I have a tumor. I stopped ingesting cannabis after my first tumor. I got a little too proud and felt too well and didn't think I needed to take my cannabis oil anymore. So for about 6 or 7 months I stopped taking it, and then this thing popped up in my neck. It was the size of a lemon. It's now the size of a golf ball using Rick Simpson oil, Phoenix Tears, hemp oil extract, whatever you want to call it. But it's basically cannabis cooked down into an essential oil. You take it 3 times a day. The initial 90 days, you want to try to get 60 grams of the oil into your body to combat cancer. Then after that, you can drop down to a maintenance dose. Right now, I've been back on the ingestible oil for 2 months and have already shrunk my tumor in half. Says I have 12 seconds. Is anybody behind me?
Anybody here from Occupied Durham?
Because I'm almost done. Awesome, I get a few more minutes. Okay? There's some current upcoming legislation that I want you to pay attention to and spread around to your friends and family and have them call their legislators and support this. And this is from study where I research all the time. These are the ones that I feel are most important to changing these laws on a federal level. October 16th, the federal hearings. A bill, H.R. 2306, is a federal bill to end prohibition. Right now it is stuck in the Homeland Security Committee and nobody's doing anything about it. We need to be making phone calls. And the next important bill is the Agricultural Hemp Bill, H.R. 1831, the Farming Act of 2011. Can you imagine what a country this would be if we gave our farmers a cash crop that they could grow and opened our factories back up to making blue jeans, plastic products, bath products, the hemp milk, all the hemp products we have on the shelves that we're importing? What that would mean to our American farmers if they could grow that. And that's what that hemp bill would do. I have a guy that I buy hay from for my horses, and he even said that if we could do this, that if we could get hemp legal for agricultural use, he could get 3 crops a year right here in North Carolina during the growing season. Okay, I'm organized now. So medically, let's talk about medically before I start reading people's comments and I finish up for today. There's a lot of studies out here that are now clinical studies that you can look up and research for yourself to find that everything that I've told you about cannabis affecting cancer is true. But here's some other studies that have been done, and you're not going to see these on national news. You'll probably find them on the internet somewhere. And that's where Google is a great resource. Go into Google and put into Google recent marijuana studies, recent cannabis studies, and it'll pull them all up for you. Because if I was to go through every one of them, it would take all day. But here's some of the most recent ones that came out. Marijuana may prevent PTSD. Our veterans in this country come home from war with severe cases of PTSD. I lost a good friend to suicide from PTSD a couple months ago. His name was Curtis Wayne Hooks Jr., and I miss him horribly. And I know that if the laws in North Carolina would have allowed him to use medical marijuana for his PTSD, he would most likely still be here today. They had that man on 17 medications for PTSD, and he just couldn't handle it anymore. And so he hung himself in Fremont, North Carolina, and I lost a good friend. Study in the UK. Marijuana is safer than alcohol. Proven. Columbia University. Marijuana benefits HIV positive patients. That's a big deal. Anything that can help those people is a big deal. There's going to be someone here at 3 o'clock to speak on that, so I hope that you come back and listen to Richard Eastman. Study. THC improves appetite for cancer patients. That's an easy one. We've known that for 40, 50 years now. We know that people that get cancer and are taking chemo that smoke marijuana, like Melissa Etheridge, she did it for her breast cancer, and she's a cancer survivor, smoke marijuana for the nausea and being able to eat when you're suffering with cancer. Study. Cannabis cigarettes are effective for neuropathic pain. That as well goes into talking about cancer. There's a lot of pain associated with cancer. The one in my neck aches a lot, and the cannabis truly does take the edge off of that pain to where you can function, but you're not high. Study. Cannabis improves the neuropathic pain in HIV patients. Harvard study. Marijuana cuts lung tumor cancer growth in half. That's the one that's the most important to me, because I as well have cut a tumor in my neck in half. Medical study. Cannabinoids protect brain cells during alcohol withdrawal. Another little insight into my friend Curtis Hooks. He had done cocaine for 20 years when I met him. He'd been a heavy alcoholic for longer than that. And just from his use, and I recommended he take the ingested oil, he was clean for 120 days off of cocaine that he was self-medicating his PTSD with. Because